Hey, how is everybody doing? It's been quite a while, and I am so terrible at putting videos up. I know Adam Z Poster tagged me in a video a while ago, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I apologize. Today it is um, kind of a big day. Today is about 4 to 5 months in the making, and it's kind of something, I don't want to say random, but it's something that I've been really looking forward to. And I kind of, I got a whole ton of new gear here that I want to show you guys and whatnot, and just kind of describe what I learned through the process. So, long story short, I kind of get on this kick where I wanted to do a big mountain. Well, living in Pennsylvania, we don't really have big mountains. So, a friend of mine from upstate New York, who I've actually never met in person, we just kind of got talking, got to be good friends. I'm actually ironically met him through a beer drinking page. We just get talking, and he kind of mentions like, "Hey, I used to live out in Seattle, worked at Mt Rainier National Park, been on the mountain tons of times, whatnot. If you want to go, let me know." So at the time, I was talking to a guy out of New Hampshire, and I don't know, he just kind of stopped talking to me. So crazily enough, I took Casey up on his offer. Now, it's kind of crazy. You never really meet a person. Now I verified, his climbing experience and whatnot, so I'm not too concerned about it. So that began the process of 4 months worth of nonstop gear researching. What gear do I need? And it was pretty. It was pretty crazy because a lot of the gear is stuff that I just never had a need for. I don't have. I had to buy. Climbing harness. I've done rope stuff years ago when I was in the fire department. I mean, I still am, but we don't really do much rope stuff. So I'm comfortable on ropes, but I don't have a harness or anything like that. And so that's stuff that I had to figure out. Ice axe, crampons, boots. Boots were probably one of the hardest things for me, and really it came down to cost. I mean, if you've ever looked at mountaineering boots, they are not a cheap investment. uh, I kind of figured out my size, settled on I settled on the La Sportiva G2 SMs, which they're a double boot. And I'm sorry about the shaky camera. um, I'm gonna go into a couple other videos on some of the more specific gear that I really needed for this trip, and things that I learned throughout my process of researching alpine climbing equipment. Really, because what I found is with a lot of the Facebook groups, they kind of already assume that a lot of this gear. Now, like I said, I live in Pennsylvania. Um, I've never been on a glacier before. I mean, I've never with the while we were at the Grand Canyon in was that November. It was like 8,200 feet, but really I've lived my whole life at 900,000 feet above sea level. So yeah, I mean we don't have big mountains. So that's another day for another video. But the boots, I had a really hard time with the boots, just because I mean you're talking anywhere from six to about $800 on a pair of boots. Never in my life did I think I'd spend that much on boots, but you need them. I thought about renting them, and I just didn't like that idea. I finally settled on a pair of boots, and I'll show them here in a minute. I found my size after constantly looking. I have big American feet, and these boots are made in Italy. Apparently, they have small, skinny feet in Italy. I don't know. So, anyways, today is Saturday. Well, it's probably Sunday by now. It's close to midnight. I'm leaving Sunday night. My wife is taking me to the airport. I'm flying out to Seattle. I'm going to be out on hopefully Mount Rainier. Plans have kind of been changing. Um, our original goal was to go out Monday, kind of get to Glacier Basin. Day 2, hike up to Camp Schurman, and then day 3, which would be like late Tuesday night. They call it an alpine start. You wake up at like midnight and start climbing, and there's reasons for it. you know, and I'm, like I said, I'm gonna try and do like a crash course video series type of thing. I'm no expert in it, but I'm gonna try and explain what I learned throughout the process of researching this and researching gear and everything. Um, so yeah, day three, which would have been Wednesday, we would have, you know, summited, come back down. Mount Rainier is 14,411 feet. However, plans kind of changed in the last couple days. The weather really picked up on the mountain. You know, it's funny because I looked at it like 4 days ago and it was supposed to be absolutely beautiful. And then 2 days ago, I think it was, Casey messaged me and, you know, he said it's not looking too great. So really, I'm flying back home late Friday night. So I have from Monday to Friday to get this trip done. And naturally, Tuesday to Thursday, above like 8,000 feet, they're calling 40, 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I mean, worst case, I am spending a week in Mount Rainier National Park. It's not that bad. It would be a bit of a letdown if I can't go up on the mountain. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of training for this. I've been doing P90X the last. I started that in January, so I'll have a solid 3.5 months worth of P90X in, which absolutely sucks. It works, but it sucks. Um, so anyways, I'm gonna show you kind of what gear in no necessarily random order. I'm in my living room. I actually have a light bulb that burned out, so I do apologize. The lighting really isn't that great. And like I said, I'm gonna try and go into some more details with some of the more technical gear and what I learned in that in a different video. This is just a quick overview. There are a couple things missing that I have not added yet, which I have to get, or not get, I already have. I just have to bring down. So yeah, let me flip the camera around and we will go from there. Oh, son of a gun, it won't let me flip the camera around. Wait a minute. No. All right, hang on a second. All right, we're back. I moved everything to the other room. Much better light there. So this is kind of laid out, no rhyme or reason. I'm gonna start with my food and just kind of go from there. So let me flip the camera around. Alrighty, so here, now this is just some of my food. I've got 3 bags laid out there. Things are kind of changing, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna be prepared basically for 5 days of food. Don't mind the little white blotches. My wife just got done painting. Yeah, I hate white trim. Side note. So anyways, food is going to consist of like the 3 bags. I have them laid out kind of for like the climbing days. And really in there it's just a lot of, you know, bars, and there's some gels, energy chews, stuff like that, kind of to keep me going. This is going to be, it's going to be brutal, you know. So a couple Snickers and just some extra bars, stuff like that. To the left here, we've got the Mount Hagen instant coffee, which I love my fresh coffee, but fresh coffee really isn't much of an option for this trip. So top left there is my rehydration pouch. Now I'm gonna go, once I get out to Seattle, you're gonna see my cat there. That's Will. He's like 14 years old or something. We don't even know. We inherited him when we bought the house. I mean, we've been in the house 13 years, so we figure he's at least 14 or so. Anyways, when I get out to Seattle, we're going to swing by REI quick because we actually have to grab a couple things out there. But all of my rehydrated meals, I'm going to do freezer bag in the pouch, rehydrate, and just eat that way, less bulk. So all that, I think I have like a 15-liter bag that all that's going to go in. So up here comes Will again, just sniffing everything, kind of hanging out. I've got my, let's see, right here, just a square of tenacious tape if we need. Right laying on top of that is, ironically, it's actually, I don't know if you could see it there. It won't focus, but, so this was a Marlboro, kind of see it, it's not a big deal. This was a Marlboro Swiss Army knife that accidentally went through the washer, and it's separated. However, it's kind of a good thing because everything on the other side I never used. It was like a corkscrew, stuff like that. So it kind of works because I got the scissors, and the camera's having a hard time focusing. The basic things I need: scissors, a little knife, there's the little tweezers in there, and it works perfectly. So right here we've got I think it's what, 50 SPF lip balm. That's a big thing that's really needed. The lips with the UV protection. So there's that. Right here, this little guy, 70 SPF. I bought a big container. These were like sample size things that my wife grabbed. Transferred it in there. Now, if I was only going to be on the mountain 3 days, this would be enough. However, we may end up being on the mountain a little longer. So I may take a little more than that. UV buff, had that a long time. Absolutely love it. Right above that is my backpacking cook kit. Now, we may end up camping out at a campsite at night. So all last week, weather was looking beautiful. And, I'm leaving Monday. Today it's actually early Sunday morning. 2 days ago, we look at the weather. Terrible. Winds are coming in. Basically, I'm flying out Monday, coming home Friday. And the weather, I mean, Tuesday to Thursday, they're calling pretty much every day between 40 to 70 mile an hour winds. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Now, going up on the mountain with me, I'm going to narrow the fuel or my cook kit down. It's really just going to be my Tokes cup and long-handled spoon and the koozie for the mug. That's about it. Right above that is my Nalgene. I do have a second Nalgene that's going to go with me. That's not in the camera, obviously, or in the picture. And then I also have a 2-liter water bladder that I'm going to take. So that should take care of the water. Moving along, this is kind of the keep me warm stuff. Right here, that is my 20-degree Local Libre habanero. Now that's normally I'm a hammock guy. I never sleep on the ground, but unfortunately I got to sleep on the ground. It is what it is. So big shout out to Kurt Zeitzelman from Hemlock Mountain Outdoors. Kurt modified a couple pieces of gear here for me, and I couldn't thank him enough for it. So anyways, moving along, basically what he did with the top quilt was he added a couple tabs on each side, and you kind of cross some shock cord, which allows you to slip the pad kind of underneath that, which helps keep the quilt down onto the pad. Other than maybe like a 1970 Coleman sleeping bag, I don't own any sleeping bags. So I was not going to buy one specifically for this trip, and I figured I could just modify one. And my 20, all the reading I did said anywhere between a 0 to 20, and that's pretty much average. So I decided on my 20-degree, and then right above it are my down socks. Again, that was something that I was going to take out there with me. Whether or not they were going up the mountain was kind of undecided. Now, the way the weather's looking, they're probably going to go. They're just a cheap pair of Amazon ones. I think I paid like 18 bucks for them. I did have to modify them because they were too small for my feet. And actually, I modified them. It's pretty terrible. I did it on my son's. It's like a little hobby kind of thing. I mean, sorry, you know what? I'm not going to button them here. Oh, wait, there's one. Sorry, camera shaking. My bad. Hang on. Bear with me. There we go. So all I really did, and I really can't sew, but I got some ripstop nylon and made like these little extensions. Now the heel doesn't have any insulation, but they work. So they kept sliding off because I, again, don't know what I'm doing. So Kurt actually added these little snaps, and they fit my feet much better. So a sit pad just to kind of keep my butt off the snow. And then probably, I mean, just to kind of keep me warm and summit day, really, I couldn't justify spending $500-600 on a down parka. And I know what my body could take in cold temperatures. So I kind of feel, I feel pretty comfortable with this between all my layers and everything. So basically, to substitute a down parka, I just intend on layering my down coats. So The green one is a Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer, or it's the technically it's the Metatherm, which is the it's like the outlet version of the Ghost Whisperer. Same exact jacket. And then right below that's my Patagonia Down Fleece. That was in my top 5 videos. I mean, you're gonna notice a trend here that I just love burnt orange. If you've seen the top 5 pick, you'll see the downside burnt orange. The sleeves on that Patagonia jacket are disgusting, but it still works, so we're gonna roll with it. Now moving on over here. Oh, this is where all the fun stuff is. Whole bunch of gear. So we will start over here. Right here I've got, I think there's 3 or 4 pair there. Now that's for the entire trip, so probably only 1 or 2 pair, well definitely 1 pair, maybe 2 pair going up on the mountain with me. I just have them all there. Same thing with my socks. Probably 2 pair are gonna go up with me. Darn Toughs, and then the gray wigwams there in the middle. They seem to just fit really well with the boots. They just work well. So then we'll just go to the left there. Right here, my first aid kit, just a basic, couple bandages, couple 4x4s, 2x2s. There's a small trauma pad in there. I have many years of EMS experience, so I don't know. It is what it is. And then the Leuco tape. I do plan on wrapping my feet before we even start up the mountain, to just try and eliminate any risk of blisters. So right above that is the poop kit. Very basic toilet paper and some dried out baby wipes. Mt Rainier, you got to use a blue bag. If you don't know what a blue bag is, just Google Mt Rainier blue bags and I'll let you discover that for yourselves. Just to the left of that are my power banks, which I'm actually having problems with. The big one there is a 10,000 milliamp and the small one's a 6,000 milliamp. And I actually have a 2,500 milliamp in my pocket that my phone is charged to because my phone was dying as I was trying to shoot this. So neither one of the big ones want to charge correctly, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Now, I had only planned on taking probably the 6,000 and the 2,500 that's in my pocket up on the mountain with me, but I'm going to kind of have to figure that out once I get up there. Moving back over to the right, just above that is my Garmin Epix GPS watch. Love that watch. I've had it for several years now. The only thing I don't like about it is the altimeter is actually off. But otherwise, it's a great watch. You could set your waypoints and everything, so that's going with me. The blue thing there, there's 3 or 4 t-shirts below that. That blue it's a long sleeve Columbia PFG fishing shirt. It's an SPF 50 shirt. Absolutely love it. I've had others similar to that I've loved. So I wanted to get a new one for this that fit me and wasn't all stretched out. Up on the mountain, I'll probably take 3 shirts total, one of them being a cotton shirt that I could throw on at night. I like cotton at night. Yeah, I mean, I might die. Cotton's gonna kill me, right? Sorry, a little sarcasm there. To the right of that, my base layers, they're just cheap Nordic Track polyester base layer. I've had them for years. For this trip, they've been stretched out, so I had to shrink them down. Shrinking polyester is actually really easy. Super hot water, wash them, and they fit perfectly. Moving up to the right, my Hardshells. That is an Eastern Mountain Sports. I don't even know the name of it. I've had it for a couple of years now. It works really well. It's never wetted out on me. It has pit zips, which is amazing. That is also starting to suffer from the burnt orange syndrome. But whatever, it works. I don't really care what it looks like. Right below that is the Marmot Precip hardshell pants. They're a full side zip pant. Again, had them a couple of years, love them. So going on, right above that, the green jacket is the Marmot ROM, Range of Motion Softshell. Just got that. It was right around November I ordered it. I wore it during the winter. Been really, really happy with it. It is a little cumbersome. The darker green material on it is stretchy. So it's a little harder to get on over like the fleece. The fleece kind of sticks to it, but whatever. It is what it is. I've been really happy with it. And then right below that are the Outdoor Research Cirque Softshell pants. Just got them. They are a little long on me, but it is what it is. Moving over, gray gloves. They are a pair of Cabela's gloves that I've had for, I'm going to say, probably 13 years now. They've been all over with me. I've had them on the snowmobile when it's been 20 below, 25, 30 below. My hands have always been warm. My feet suck. My feet always get cold. Hands, I mean, it could be 0 degrees and I don't need gloves. So they're my heavy gloves, and then to the left there, which I'm still undecided about those red things there, they're just a cheap pair of, I think, Scranton Running cotton gloves, which, oh boy, cotton again. I may end up picking up a different pair of like a lighter shell glove while I'm out there. I haven't decided yet. Right above that, the not burnt orange, it's more of a rust color. That is a Melanzana hard face hoodie. If you haven't heard about that, check them out. They're really sweet. They actually, it's a microgrid fleece. And they're kind of along the same lines as like the Patagonia R1, except it fits a little, it's not as snug as the R1. I was tossed between this and the R1. I really wanted one of these. The downside is that Melanzana, they're based out of Leadville, Colorado, and they do not ship. So you have to find somebody out there that will go to the store, purchase it, and ship it to you and not rip you off. Fortunately, I found a guy that did that for me. So really happy about that. I actually just got that. Other than wearing it around the house, I haven't been wearing it a lot. And that's the coffee bar there. Can you tell I love coffee? Man, I love coffee. I really do. So coming back down. Right here, the Jublo Explorer 2.0 Glacier glasses with the chameleon lens. That was another category that kind of overwhelmed me. You know, again, I don't know if I said in this section of the video, I'm from Pennsylvania. We don't have glaciers, not anymore at least. We do have the Pothole, actually, which is a state park, and it's a big just hole in the ground that was created by a glacial waterfall. But that was, I don't know how long ago. So that's another category. As we get kind of into the technical gear, I'm going to probably do another video on what I learned. I'm obviously no expert in it. However, I found that a lot of the Facebook pages and stuff like that, they kind of think that you already know what you're talking about. When you ask a lot of questions, people start to get a little irritated. So anyways, moving on, right above that, right there's my black Columbia hat, which that was in my top 5 gear pick. I mean, that thing has been all over Maine, Vermont, New York, skiing, Pennsylvania, stuff like that. Love that hat. And then right above that is another, it's a Melanzana microgrid fleece hat. Only one of them is going to go on the mountain with me. I'm still kind of undecided which one is going. I like the microgrid fleece. However, that hat's an extra large. I have a bit big of a head, and I thought an extra large would be good, but it's actually a little bit big on me. So I'll kind of determine that once I get out there. So let's see, right above to the right here, those bad boys. They are the Sierra Madre Carbon Trekkers. You can't even buy them yet. So if you've been through my channel, the very few videos I have, I mean, it's no secret, I'm a huge fan of Sierra Madre gear. Absolutely love it. I'll be sleeping on the ground this trip, so no hammock. However, they're starting to launch new products in that, and if you're looking for a pair of trekking poles, I will have a better opinion about them after this trip. But so far, the little bit I've used them, I absolutely love them. They're a 3-piece pole. As you can see, they fold down relatively small, 14.2 ounces for the pair. Really happy with them. When you do order them, I believe you're going to be able to get, you know, snow baskets and stuff. These do not. These are kind of like borderline final prototype kind of thing. And just a shout out to Sierra Madre. I've been involved with them for about 4 years now, and they've been absolutely excellent whenever I, you know, ask them for gear to borrow or take to a hang with me. And, you know, I can't thank them enough for sending me these poles. And I'm really looking forward to using them. So just to the left of that are my ski goggles. Hopefully I won't need them, but with the high winds, It's a very real possibility that I'll need goggles. They were an item that obviously they're going to go in the bag with me. I don't know if they were going to go up the mountain, but now they're absolutely going to be in my bag going up the mountain. Right above that is just a Columbia sun hat. Kind of has the flap down the back over the shoulders. Picked that up in Arizona when I was out there in Sedona in November. To the left of that is just it's a black diamond climbing helmet. I don't know if you're starting to notice the burnt orange trend here. And, you know, I've had that for a while. I've only used it a couple times, but it works. Simple, works. Attached to that is my Foxelli headlamp, which I've been, if you haven't seen the video, I still love that thing. And the only thing I got to do is change out the batteries. I do have lithium batteries for it, so I got to change those out. Moving over is the Omega Pacific Ice Axe, I think is the name brand of it. It's 60 centimeters. It works really well. Like when my hands are down to my side, it kind of like equals out the length. And then another shout out to Kurt here. He attached, you could kind of see the blue cord right there. That's an Amsteel leash that Kurt attached for me, which it's along the same concept of what he calls his dragon snares, which was kind of the idea of dragon trails and for like a bottle holder. And if you're familiar with dragon trails, you know who I'm talking about. And then Kurt kind of makes them out of Amsteel. Now that's basically a bigger version of it that will go on my wrist, and also I'll be able to tie off on my harness. It's long enough so that I can reach out and do whatever I need to. So again, another shout out to Kurt, and shout out to Dragon too for kind of coming up with that design. So to the left of that, I have 3 screw gate carabiners and 3 wire gate carabiners. The 3 screw gates are black diamond, and attached are 2 60 centimeter Dyneema leashes, or Dyneema slings. And then the black carabiners there are just kind of like the, man, I hope we never have to use them, but if we do, I have them. They're actually my Hammock carabiners. I actually messaged Richard about them, and they're a 4,400 pound climbing rated carabiner, so they're gonna go with me. To the left of that is the black diamond Collier hammock, hammock. Oh, I'm getting tired. Sorry. Black diamond Collier harness. It's an alpine specific harness, bare bones, not much padding. It's not a harness that you want to be hanging off of for an extended period of time. It's specifically made for alpine environments and that. It was a toss between that and the Petzl altitude harness, which this one just fit me better. So moving up, the last couple big boys there. Crampons. They are the Gravel G12s. I found them on eBay. They retail for around $200. I paid, I think, $110 for them. So they were used, but I mean, honestly, if the paint wasn't even worn off them, so if they've seen the snow once or twice, that's a lot. So they're pretty much brand new. And then the big bad boys there. These were like the vein of my existence for the better part of 2 months. They are the Scarpa Phantom 6000s. It really took me a long time to pick out boots and settle on what kind of boot I wanted. I was really worried about my feet, and it came down to a toss between the Scarpa, the Phantom 6000s there, and the La Sportiva G2s. And really buying them, it came down to also what pair popped up for sale in my size. I found a ton of them, 8, 9, 10 US, and I have big feet. Sorry. Normally I wear a 13, so I believe that's a size 47 in European. And these things popped up. They're size 48 or 49. It's the equivalent of a US size 14. And all the research I've done said that you should buy your boots half size to a size bigger. Well, when you get that big in size, it's a full size or nothing, which I'm really happy. They fit really well so far. I'm going to pair them up with probably the gray socks right here, which are my wigwams. Either them, or you could see right here, they're the Darn Tough, the Jamaican. They're a little thinner. I kind of like the way the wigwams feel a little better, but we'll see what happens. So all that is going to go in my Osprey, my Atmos 65. And I haven't weighed it out yet. I weighed it the other day with just a rough idea, and it was around 30 pounds. So a couple things that are missing, which my buddy that I'm going with, Casey, he's actually going to bring... he's going to bring his... we're going to use his... He has two, like, more of an alpine stove. And he's also... We're going to use his tent. He's got a 4-season alpine tent. So, and then, you know, sleeping pad. Right now I have a Thermarest Ridge Rest, which I think Casey's going to bring another one for me to use that has a little better of an R value. So that's another thing I kind of stressed about, because I do have a couple sleeping pads, but none of them really are for winter. So it's new to me. I never really slept on the ground in the snow. All my winter camping has been in a hammock. So Casey has that, and then he's bringing the cord, or the cord I say. He's bringing the rope. Glacial travel, you got to rope up, hence the reason why the climbing harness, carabiners, stuff like that. He is also bringing some snow pickets, which are it's for anchoring. You know, God forbid someone to go down into a crevasse or something like that. You got to set up an anchor system. Thankfully, I'm relatively familiar with ropes and stuff. I'm comfortable being in a harness. I've rappelled before and stuff like that, so I'm not worried about any of that. I'm pretty confident with the knots I need to know. I've been actually tying them for years. A lot of the same knots transition into the fire service. So yeah, I mean, that's everything I could think of. Yeah, I'm going to try and do just a video on some of the technical gear, because a lot of it took a lot of research, a lot of confusing things and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do just like a basic crash course in what I know, in the very little that I know about mountaineering, because I really don't know much at all. So it's all learning experience, and I'm going to go back over here, get a shot of that. And yeah, so I'm going to hopefully film most of it on my phone. I'm going to take the GoPro with me too. I don't know how much I'm going to use that. And then, you know, for a tripod, I just have I think it's the Ultra Pod. So a couple of my big concerns, I'm worried about the altitude. I really am. I mean, we were at the Grand Canyon around Thanksgiving, which is about 8,000 feet, a little over 8,000. And that's the highest I've ever been. So living in Pennsylvania, I mean, I pretty much lived my whole life between 900 and 1,000 feet above sea level. And I'm not exactly sure how the altitude's going to affect me. So it is what it is. I've been told be prepared to puke. So we'll just roll with it and see what happens. So until then, I guess I normally say happy hanging, but I'm going to be on the ground. I'm very primitive. Sorry. Not knocking the ground dwellers, but man, hammocks are nice. So again, shout out to Sierra Madre for the trekking poles, and shout out to Dragon Trails for coming up with the noose there. And another big shout out to Kurt from Hemlock Mountain Outdoors for customizing some of my gear for me. That really, I can't stress enough, that's been such a huge help. So all right, everybody, I'll talk to you later, and I'll get you an update at some point. All right, bye.